Is it possible to turn a small sportsbook deposit into thousands of dollars just by betting promos and boosts? The answer may surprise you. Anyone who tells you sports betting is easy is full of shit. And since the last time you talked to them, they probably learned the hard way after their luck finally ran out. That's the problem though, right? Hit a couple of big tickets as a new casual bettor, and now nobody can tell you you're not a god amongst men. I mean, just look at all the people who are using one big lotto ticket win to promote their newly minted Dub Club memberships. It's really just a never-ending cycle of false competence that leads to disaster. And honestly, it happens to anybody who hits a couple of big wins early on. Because sportsbooks exist for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make a profit. So then you're probably asking yourself, then why do sportsbooks even offer promos and bonus bets in the first place? The answer is because they expect you to play the promos wrong. They expect you to burn through your bonus bets and eventually just give it all back. But here's the secret. There are ways to play those promos right, and there's ways to turn those bonus bets into cold, hard cash. And this is how we do it. All right, so the first step in this process is you need to take advantage of every sign-up offer that's available to you. This part of the process is non-negotiable. You absolutely have to do it. Because think about it, any sportsbook that is offering you sign-up bonuses, right? And many of them are really good. They're literally building your bankroll for you before you've even gotten started betting. And these sportsbook offers are super, super powerful if you're somebody that's starting off with a smaller bankroll. I mean, look, some of them are offering between $150 and $300 in bonus bets just for making a $5 or $10 deposit and placing one bet. So really, if you're in a state that has a lot of sportsbooks available to you, you could legitimately turn $25 or $30 into $1,000 with the snap of a finger. And by the way, if you guys want to get started with any of these, I threw a link in the description with what I think are the best sign-up offers out there right now. But just having these bonus bets isn't really enough to build your bankroll. Remember, these sportsbooks happily and freely give out bonus bets to all of these new users because they expect them to end up losing them, right? And then ultimately redeposit onto the site. Because at the end of the day, they're never going to give anything away for free to anybody unless ultimately they think it's going to be a win for themselves. So you have to play these bonus bets smart. And the first thing you have to know is that your stake is not returned on a winning bonus bet. In other words, if you used a $100 bonus bet on a minus 500 favorite and it won, you would get $20 back, not $120. So what happens is that you get these new bettors coming onto a site thinking they figured it out. Let me bet a huge favorite. It's an easy win for me and I can stack my bankroll out of the gate, when in reality, you don't get the bonus bet back. You only get the winnings. So since the stake on a bonus bet isn't returned to you if it wins, the smartest way to play these, even though it may sound counterintuitive, is to try and capitalize on the raw payout and actually go for slightly more long shot bets. So think of it like this. If you have a free swing in a baseball game, you're not going to bunt to try and get on first base. No, you're going to swing for the fences and you're going to hack at a pitch even if it's outside of the zone because there's zero downside. And you aren't incurring any of the same risk as you would with a bet where you're staking your own money. So this is the opportunity to actually embrace the volatility. And obviously this doesn't mean piecing together a bunch of 10-leg parlays that have almost zero chance of winning, but you extract a lot more value from these bonus bets with longer odds, as opposed to a minus 110 standard bet. And here's the great part. Let's just say you signed up on 7 books and you've got a heap of bonus bets. Even if all of them lost, your downside is still capped at $25 or $30, where your upside is well into the thousands. You're essentially given a free swing. You could swing and miss and walk back to the dugout like nothing ever happened, or you could hit a home run. It's a win-win every time you sign up and get these bonus bets offered. The next step in building a bankroll is through boosts, and these are huge. I kind of want you to think of boosts as a tool that can do 3 different things. The first thing they can do is take a bad bet and make it into a less bad bet. They can also take a bad bet and make it a good bet, or they can take a good bet and make it a way better bet. And the reason boosts are so powerful, not just to a new bettor, but to anybody, is because they are lowering your break-even point, which is the amount of times you would need to win a specific bet in order to break even if you bet that same thing over and over again. Don't look at boosts through the lens of, hey, if I win this bet, my payout will be bigger, which of course it will. But instead you want to look at them as, hey, if I were to boost this bet, now I would need to win it fewer times in order to be profitable. And the amazing thing about boosts is you can use them on sports or markets that you know literally nothing about. As a matter of fact, you would be dumb to not blindly bet these boosts on sports, even if you are completely oblivious. Like, take a look at this yes or no run first inning profit boost on FanDuel that applies a 50% boost to whatever you take. This is how I would extract as much value as possible out of this promo, even if I knew nothing about baseball. The first thing I want to do is I want to see which line is better on FanDuel than any other book. And you can use any live odds screen to completely streamline this process. For obvious reasons, I prefer to use the one over at OddsShopper. So after scanning all the odds, I decided to take the yes run first inning on the Astros Athletics game because FanDuel had the best odds at -122. So now I know that without even using this boost, I'm already getting the best odds across any book on this specific game. But then when I apply the boost, we take it from -122 to +123. And now your break-even point just went from 55% to 45%, which makes this an objectively good bet, whether or not you have any clue what you just clicked on. And for those of you visual learners out there, here's how it works, and this is why it should be important to you as well. So let's take that same bet before and after the boost. So -122 and +123. And we're going to assume that we bet each of those 100 times with $10 wagers on each. And we're going to say that we win them 50% of the time. So that means we win 50 out of 100 bets on each of those. If you won 50 bets on the +123 boosted line, you would have profited $115 because you only needed to win 45% of the time just to break even. But if you also won 50 bets on the unboosted line at -122, you actually would have lost $90 because your break-even point on that line was 55%. Ultimately, anytime you can move odds in your favor, whether it's through a boost or any other type of promo, you absolutely need to do it because the bet itself is actually meaningless. The math is the only thing that matters. And the same thing applies to discounted plays like free squares or discounted prop lines. These are just straight no-brainer decisions. You don't even have to think about it because the chances of these bets winning is always going to be higher than the odds that are given to us by the sportsbook. And if you've heard the term plus EV before, that's exactly what these boosts and promos are. They're positive expected value bets. If you were to bet these same bets repeatedly under the same conditions, you would undoubtedly be profitable long-term. And that's literally the exact process we use to profit over at OddsShopper with the PortfolioEV tool. You're simply identifying the true odds of every bet and then ensuring that the probability of that bet winning is higher than the odds offered to us by the sportsbooks, and then you're betting them, as many as you can. It's called a top-down or market-based approach, and it's one of the most profitable ways you can go about sports betting. Think of it like you're already getting organic boost with all of these sportsbooks before they even offer them to us. Except in this case, we're betting everything the sportsbooks don't want us to bet, and we're jumping on it before they can move the odds. And that right there is the key to sustainable profits in sports betting. And hey, if you ever want to check out PortfolioEV for yourself, click that link in the description and use code BOOST. That'll get you a free week and 75% off your first month. All right, so with sign-up bonuses and boosts, it should be clear now that you absolutely can turn a small bankroll into thousands of dollars. But there are a few other key things you need to consider when you're promo hunting across all of these books, because there are some type of boost that you need to play differently than others, and they're not so cut and dry. Specifically, these progressive parlays, or they're called boost builders on some sites, stepped up parlays, but they're all the same thing. With these promos, the boost percentage increases with every leg you add into a parlay. And to get the most out of these boosts, you actually don't want to be adding a bunch of plus money legs. Instead, what you should be doing is adding favorites into each legs of these parlays, because what you do is you keep your expected win percentage reasonable now while still increasing the boost percentage and your expected value. So a 100% boost on plus 600 odds is actually more valuable here than a 100% boost on plus 6,000 odds. Another great example of plus EV promos would be no sweat bets, which sportsbooks offer all the time. And anytime you're offered a no sweat bet, you should be betting the maximum amount for that wager. For instance, if you have an offer on a no sweat home run bet and the max refund is $25, you should be betting $25 on that home run. Because if the bet loses, you're still getting $25 refunded to you in bonus bets. It's a free roll. And finally, the last thing, but very important thing before we go, be aware of bad boosts. Anytime a sportsbook offers you a pre-made parlay boost, make sure to do your due diligence before blindly betting into it. There are plenty of instances where sportsbooks will offer you a pre-made parlay boost, And the odds are actually worse than they would be on other sportsbooks who don't even offer a boost for that exact same parlay. It's a really common trap that these sportsbooks will set for casual bettors, kind of creating a sense of exclusivity when really it's just a minus EV bet. So just always cross-check these promos across other sportsbooks before diving in. And you'll find that a lot of times those boosts actually will be plus EV and you'll want to bet them, but you always want to make sure as well. So if you were to ask me, is it possible to build a real bankroll by just taking advantage of promos and boosts? I'd say the answer is absolutely yes. But the first thing you need to do is grab those sign-up offers. But I'd also say it's not easy, and you always want to have additional tools available to you in order to scale that bankroll quicker. Like the PortfolioEV tool, which is basically hundreds of boosted bets on steroids every single day. But the bottom line is that boosts are very much your friend if you play them right, and they will make you profitable long-term. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And of course, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. And as always, I'll see you back here for the next one.